You ever notice how women become feminists after they get done having their fun in their 20s? Right? After. After they get done riding the cock carousel. And this is not by accident. This is not a mistake. Okay? It's on purpose. And it's not that they were never feminists. It's just that they really had no reason to be, because when you're in your 20s and you're hot and you're single, the world is literally at your feet. You know, you get everything if you want, which is sad, and men need to change that. But they don't become feminists until after they're done riding the cock carousel, until after they pop out a kid or two, probably an illegitimate kid or two. And then they get all feministy. Because why? Because feminism is really not about just equality. It's about special privileges. Feminism is about double standards and special privileges. Okay? It's about equality for you, special privileges for me as a woman, right? That's what feminism is about. Because when they're out chasing Chad, when they're riding the cock carousel, when they're chasing the bad boys, all right, they don't have time to be a feminist. They don't have time to pretend to be oppressed online. They don't have time to, quote unquote, fight the patriarchy, because they're too busy sucking cock. They're too busy getting stuffed in the backseat of a truck or whatever, right? They're too busy. And also, it's not attractive. It's not attractive to a lot of men. They don't want to mess around with feminists. She's not going to tell Chad Thundercock that she's a feminist. It doesn't help her. It doesn't benefit her. In fact, she's going to play submissive. She's going to pretend like she's submissive. She's going to love bomb the guy so she can get him to commit, or she can get him to do what she wants, whatever that is, whether it's give her attention or whatever. And then, ironically, once she gets the attention from him, and once he does commit, then she'll no longer be interested, because this is how women operate. They always want to be chasing the guy, and they're trying so desperately hard to get him to commit, and then once he does commit, they're no longer attracted. Isn't that a bitch? Because they're really just, very attracted to Chad. They're very attracted to the bad boy, and this is that whole dynamic, alpha fucks, beta bucks. They want to turn the alpha guy into a beta, but then once they do, they're no longer attracted to him, and they can't figure out why. So they dump him or whatever, and then they end up with, Mr. Dependable, Mr. Docile Beta, Mr. Beta Bucks. And then they want to become feminists. Then they want to look for the male feminist who will support her decisions and give her all the respect and adoration as a feminist, right? All the bullshit that comes with that. Isn't that funny how that happens? So when they're chasing Chad Thundercock, when they're out pumping and dumping bad boys, they got no time to be a feminist. They got no time to be oppressed, because really they're not oppressed, because women in the Western world are not oppressed. They're really not at all. You want real oppression? Go to the Middle East. You want real female oppression? Go to somewhere in Africa, one of these African countries where there's real patriarchy, where there's real misogyny, right? We don't live in that kind of country, and we haven't for at least 100 years. It just hasn't been that way. And it's arguable if it really ever was. Where do you see the patriarchy? Where do you see the oppression? Oh, they couldn't vote at one point. Well, that doesn't mean they're oppressed necessarily. It just means they didn't have a voice in legislation. That was changed with the 19th Amendment. Men did that. She has no time to be a feminist when she is sucking and fucking, when she's out getting tossed up. She has no time to complain about men. But when she's done riding the cock carousel, then all of a sudden things change. Then all of a sudden men ain't shit. Then all of a sudden I don't need no man. Then all of a sudden I'm oppressed as a woman. Then all of a sudden the patriarchy and all the things all the things that they complain about, right? When she's done, when she jumps off the cock carousel, then it's her time to shine as a feminist. Now all of a sudden she's a stark feminist. She's a gung ho, oppressed woman, outspoken for women's rights, right? When they're having fun, when they're in the college years, when they're having fun, they're getting tossed up. They might be feminists. That might be there. Those tendencies, that latent feminism might be there, but it's not going to be overt. It's not going to come out. She's not going to be outspoken about it. She's not going to wear it around her neck until she's 25, until she's 30, until she's 35, and she hits the wall. Now she's no longer marketable. Now she's no longer the same in the dating market. Now all of a sudden she's a feminist. Now all of a sudden she's out trying to cancel guys. Now all of a sudden she's out fighting against body she's fighting for body equality or whatever that is. What's that called when they're fighting for the body? Body positivity or whatever, right? But of course, when she was out screwing around, it was like, no, I don't want anybody under 6 feet. But now all of a sudden, after she jumps off the cock carousel, now she's fighting for body positivity because she's got 50 extra pounds of fat. She ate Taco Bell when she, for 5 years when she was when she was done at the club and she was drinking or whatever. She messed her body up, Now all of a sudden she's fighting for body positivity. But when she was riding the cock carousel, she wasn't messing with no guy who was overweight. She wasn't messing with no guy who was under 6'2". She wasn't messing with no guy with a small dick. Okay? This is the shit that we don't talk about. This is shit that the society doesn't deem important because men are not important. No, she wanted Chad Thundercock with the six-pack abs. Chad six-pack. That's what she wanted when she was 22 and getting railed. But all of a sudden, she hits 28, 30, 29, 30, and she's all about body positivity. She's all about accept me. If you can't accept me at my worst, you don't even at my best, but is she going to accept you at your worst? Hell no. This is the double standards. This is the bullshit that these weirdo feminists propagate. It's been Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Thanks for listening. Peace.